Welcome to POSTCAST, where the Utah Jazz win their 10th of their last 11 at home. Thanks, Cody. Say hi to everybody. That's Cody, superstar intern for the Jazz PR staff. 186, the final for the Jazz tonight. They have a very impressive outing all across. I mean, game was never in doubt. They got a tired team. They got a team that played in Denver last night, but you know what? They weren't good early. They trailed by 6 at the end of first, had them right where we wanted them because the Jazz lead the NBA in wins after trailing at the end of the first quarter. The last time the Jazz didn't have a terrible first quarter was against Houston, so we'll make sure we never have another good first quarter again.
I think that was only a 2-point margin there.
But the Jazz, really the game changes when Burks, Carroll, Favors, Kanter, I think Millsap might have been the 3 for that period of time, changed the game. And it was an incredible energy burst, largely with an amazing performance by Enes Kanter.
Yeah, it was all Kanter, I thought. I mean, the energy level was there. Carroll always brings that type of energy when he comes into the ball game. Burks, he did there as well. But I thought it was Kanter, the one with the offensive rebounds, the putback. He had 4 offensive rebounds, I think, during that span, and 5 altogether. But he scored in that second quarter. He scored, 10 or 11 of 13 points there in that second quarter. And I thought that energy level and the excitement of the game was generated there by Enes Kanter.
Beautiful hook shot to the middle. Beast plays where he just overpowered guys again. We haven't seen that this much this year as we did last year. What did you see that shows you development in Kanter's game?
Well, his game has been up and down. I mean, I think what gets him in trouble is when he continues to make mistakes on the defensive end or when he doesn't recognize what's automatics. And I think that's what keeps him off the floor sometimes. Tonight, as you and I talked about, he did recognize and did do the things that he needed to do with the automatics, that's for sure. And then he's always going to be aggressive on the boards. He's always going to fight. And, I don't think Coach Corbin has a problem with any of that. But tonight, I thought he played basketball and got it done.
There was a 2-play sequence in the third quarter. You'll never see it on the highlight reels, but it might have told you how much Favors and Kanter have developed. The first one was the Bucks were overplaying the post, and the Jazz were having a hard time getting the post. Right. So, and they're playing on the top side. So the Jazz swung to the top. Favors threw a high-low pass beautifully to Kanter and missed the layup. The next possession, they reversed it. Kanter threw the pass to Favors. He missed the layup. So you'll never see them on a replay. But I'll bet you we ask the coaching staff, those might be their 2 most favorite plays of the night because these kids are grasping what they're supposed to do and how to play the game right.
And that's what I mean by the automatic, David. I mean, that was an automatic there. When you're being overplayed, you're being fronted down on the low block, that was an automatic. You come to the high post, and it's a high-low. He didn't hesitate to do it. He wasn't late doing it, and so they had opportunities to score there. Both players just missed it, but it got done, and I'm sure the coaches are very pleased with that.
Alec Burks got extended run at the backup point guard tonight. Jamal Tinsley does not look quite right, and Brandon Jennings' quickness was a little bit of a problem. I was impressed as much by Burks defensively tonight because Brandon Jennings can go off. He's not a great player. I'll ask you a little bit about him because I know our fans are interested. They're all looking for the next point guard. But I thought the fact Burks really just took him out of the game, and then I thought handled a team that forces the third most amount of turnovers fairly well. The Jazz do commit I believe it turned out the final number was 19 turnovers, so it's the third highest turnover output of the year. But I thought Alec was actually much better tonight than he was against Sacramento, considering the opponent.
He's going to get tested, David. I mean, he's going to get tested because you just think about the point guards in the league now that he's going to have to go up against and how he's going to have to do his homework. And what I mean by homework, take away the weakness of certain players, know their tendencies, what they like to do. I mean, he's in a position now that's demanding, and he needs to do more than just be an athlete and a player out there on the floor. He's got to think there as well. So his defense is going to be a part of that, and hopefully he gets it done.
Jazz really just got spurred on. Favors probably deserves a mention. 9 points, 11 rebounds. Let me say this again, because I'm going to say this slowly. While everyone's talking about Kanter, listen to this tonight. In 21 minutes, 9 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Now, what we really saw was a team play without Larry Sanders, playing with second-tier bigs.
And
Kanter and Favors are showing that they can annihilate those
right.
guys.
Sanders leads the league in block shots, over 3 a game. Not a huge offensive threat, but more of a defensive player for this basketball team.
You know, we asked each other at some point along the way, how does Milwaukee win in games? I think what the lock of Sanders tonight, when they're able to throw out 48 minutes of shot blocking bigs in Dallin Barrett and Sanders, and I think that might be the core to everything that they do, because I think they may run off of that. They're the third highest pace of play team, and so when they didn't have that tonight, they may just not have had any of the weapons, plus they were tired from playing last night.
Absolutely, and so as a result, David, that second in the ball game, fast break points for the Milwaukee Bucks, they still had 25, but they did not have an inside game, and the three-point shots is something that they rely on there as well. That didn't fall there.
Paul Millsap played a lot of three in key moments tonight. Tyrone's had been forced to go back to that, but it's worked pretty well, actually. And I like the way he's been playing deep in the post on these guys. He really, Ilyasova looked awful tonight defensively, and Mike Dunleavy, that's unfair to ask him to try to guard Paul Millsap in the post.
You know, it's a luxury for coaches to have players that can play a couple of different positions. But I think it's now more of a necessity for teams to have players because a lot of players are now at that medium height, 6'8", 6'9", that can do so many things. Handle the basketball, shoot the long-range jump shot. So you must be one of those players. And you were talking about the young kid, what's his
John
name?
Henson? Or Tobias
Henson
Harris.
and Harris. You know, those are guys that are 6'8". You know, they should be, that 6'8" player should maybe have some two-guard skills there as well as some point guard. Small forward skills, and so that's where the game is going right now. The big guys, the centers, it's nice to have them, but it's a luxury to have guys who can play like that.
Jazz fans are looking for their next point guard. Mo Williams is one of those free agents, so it could be him. Brandon Jennings is a restricted free agent. There's some thought that the Bucks could trade him here before the deadline, because if they don't want to pay him, then they might as well trade him. What is your evaluation of Brandon Jennings?
I think he's a good player. He's an explosive player. I just don't think he's a player. I don't think he fits into what the Jazz would like to see out of a point guard here. And David?
You don't like him that much, admit it.
I don't like him
Come
that
on,
much.
admit it, I don't either.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about him, having not watched him every night, is that they somehow win games.
Yeah.
And I got to figure, if I was trying to evaluate him, I'd really have to look at why he wins. But he shoots 39%. He's not big enough to defend. He's not a distributor. Doesn't really run an offense.
Well, you heard what Jim Boylan said. Yeah. He makes big shots. He makes key shots, and when you need it, and so if you can rely on that, and that's what you're looking for, pay him and keep him. But
I don't think Milwaukee will pay to keep him. He'll be somewhere else, and I doubt he'll be here. The Jazz win tonight, 186. They go to 6 games over 500, and they win their 10th out of their last 11 at home. They go to a very, very impressive 19-5 at home, and they have won every home game except for one against the Eastern Conference this year, with another Eastern Conference foe next. The Chicago Bulls on Friday. Come out and join us for an 8 o'clock tip-off. On behalf of Ron, I'm David. Have a good night and be safe.